Today we're making a video about how or what it's like to be a professional poker player. I'm sure many of you at least wonder. So I thought I'd just talk about my experience of being a pro. What you might know about me is that I was an online, or I am an online player. So I'm definitely going to have a different experience from a live player. But I've been around a lot of live players, and I've also I've also played a lot of live poker, so I kind of know what that's like too. So I started when I was in high school. So when I originally started, I was living at home with my parents. I'd wake up before school, I would play poker, go to school, surf, sort of like poker forums all day, come home, play poker until dinner, eat dinner, play poker until I went to bed, go to bed. And I did that I did that basically every day for 2 straight years, actually 2 straight years, where I did almost nothing else. I went to the gym sort of sporadically. Yeah, I'm thinking there's nothing coming up. Because I was just so absorbed with it. And then I was in sort of the second semester of high school, but then I just sort of clocked out there. I was all poker, and I was ignoring my friends. I wasn't doing much of anything, and then sort of that summer was more of the same. And then over next year of college, I didn't really go to class. All I did was play poker, and I was I should just leave. This is not the place for me right now. So I kind of got absorbed with it, and then what the lifestyle really changed when I became a pro. I was living at home, and I was sort of off my own for the first time, and then that was my second year where I was living at home playing full time, and then my third year I made enough money to where I could move, so I moved to California for a year, and that's when I started to get a lot of freedom, and I just remember not dealing with it well, because I was still just very one-dimensional. I went to California at 19. Most people leave I went to Orange County. Most people leave Orange County at 19. Me getting there at 19 was definitely kind of weird, because everyone my own age had just kind of left. It was more just me sort of playing poker, but I had money, right? I got a new car, and I had freedom. I could sort of do what it was weird, because I had finally had enough money, and I was on my own. I could do whatever I want. It's what do we do? Play more poker. We'll just keep making money. This vicious cycle will never end. I would say I don't know. I was just working so hard at it. And then let's see. And then I moved out to Vegas, and it was just kind of California and Vegas in general was just kind of interesting as a 19-year-old, because you have all this money. I had hundreds of thousands at some point, $1 million, and a car, and I wasn't even legally able to gamble. So I it was just funny, because I was I'll play this tournament now, or play this cash game, and you just had all this sort of freedom, and I made so many mistakes. I played games I wasn't rolled for. I wasn't my approach to the game really wasn't any good. I would say my approach to the game got more analytical towards the end, but it was just sort of me doing stuff rather than getting lucky early. So it was just a lot of freedom that ended up kind of making me reckless, but also forced me to learn and grow. And that was that was sort of one of the good things, I guess about it. But yeah, a typical day for me, I guess back then, would be wake up. And when I was living in Vegas, actually, me and Doug used to share an assistant. So she would come to my house 2 or 3 days a week. She would go to his house 2 or 3 days a week. And that was great, because she would cook, and she would do all the things. I just tried to, back then, and even really to this day, I just tried to make it so that the only thing I have to do in this life is click buttons on the internet, and that was it. So I would wake up, and she probably wouldn't be there. She ended up making me more, I would figure out whatever for breakfast, right? I would, I definitely wouldn't cook. I lived in Panorama in Vegas, so there was, I could go to a casino, or I could go to any of the million breakfast places right around there. Just grab some eggs, and then come back, grab some eggs, and I don't think I was maybe drinking iced tea at the time. I wasn't drinking coffee yet. And then hop on the computer, and I would really just hop on, and this is back when Full Tilt starts in America. I'd hop on the computer, see if the games were running, what was going on. If there's good action, I'd hop in there. If not, I might go do something else earlier, and then might play later in the day, and then I was a little bit more social in Vegas, as there was a lot of people there, a lot of poker players there, and A lot of poker players back then lived in Panorama, so we'd play racquetball or hang out and, I don't know, go to hookah. I could do that back then when I was 20. Or, you know, do, I don't know, just sort of like mess around, in Vegas. Maybe go to the gym. I started going to the gym more in 2010. And then come back, and it really, I mean, like, really, like, what my day was, it was just revolving, and I'm sure live players especially know about this, like, back then it revolved around the lobby. It's like, okay, you know, are there good games at, you know, sort of like 10-20 through 50-100, right? That was about the stakes I was playing back then. And I would like look at the heads up lobby and just see, like, will anyone play me, or I'll sit and see if anyone wants to play, and just sort of, like, you know, see what happens, or if there's somebody that I've been playing, you know, multiple times with, they start online. And if that's not there, then, like, I have nothing to do, right? And, like, that was the only thing that I felt like I had to do, was, like, eat, breathe, and play poker and sleep, and that was it. Everything else was pretty optional. So, like, if that wasn't there, it was like kind of open ended. And I would say back then I just, you know, I played a lot of video games, and I played a lot of video games. I watched a lot of TV. Things I guess I kind of regret to this day doing. I would have liked to do less of that and, like, more, I guess, like, sort of expanding my mind. But I mean, that's just sort of like one of sort of the perils of being successful at poker, or it's almost a peril. I guess it's a peril. Is that you sort of have all this, you know, it's like how do you have this relationship with, like, when do you play, and how, like, you know, do you play when you feel good? Do you play 9 to 5? Do you play on the weekends? And it's like sort of like managing sort of the rest of your time. And, like, I think for, like, a lot of people that's great. Like, I would much prefer that to any sort of structure. But, you know, I was never trained, or I never thought about, like, introducing some sort of, like, my own structure, because it's like on the one hand, poker can be no structure, and then the other hand, like, something like school or normal job could be like you know, a ton of structure, right? But, like, I think a lot of people, we're not looking for no structure, we're just looking for a structure of our own. And that was something, I mean, even to this day, that, like, I still struggle with. It's like, well, you know, like, how do I want to spend my time? So eventually I ended up moving. So eventually, you know, sort of Black Friday happened, and that happened while I was in Thailand. And at the time I was in Thailand. Let's see, so my first year as a pro, I lived at home. My second year I lived in California. The third year I lived in Vegas, right? And it was, like, a very sheltered sort of experience. And I really just I had this incredible itch to travel. I just, like, wanted to go do something sort of radical. And so I was like, I'm just going to move to Thailand. I didn't know anybody there. I just knew there's a poker community in Bangkok. And I was like, I just booked a one-way ticket and a 5-day hotel room, backed up my life, and put it into, I think, two suitcases and a backpack, and just left. And I got there, I met all these poker players. I was like, wow, this is great. I'm having so much fun. Like, I'm learning about this new place. Like, I mean, that was like, I guess, maybe the first experience where I took some of the freedom and success that I had, you know, from poker, and then leveraged that into, like, an unbelievable life experience that, you know, really changed me, shaped me. That's like taking sort of this freedom and resources and then reinvesting it into yourself. That was hugely important, hugely pivotal for me. It really changed, I mean, the way that I look at reality. I got another hotel room, stayed there for 2 weeks, and then went to Aussie Millions. Like, again, like, somebody was just in my hotel room. I was like, I'm from Australia, let's go. And I was like, fuck it, we're here, like, we're in the mix, let's go. So I went to Australia for 2 weeks, and that was a lot of fun. And you know, saw Aussie Millions. Australia, Melbourne, one of my favorite places to go travel to visit to. Great, just unbelievable city. And then I came back to Thailand and lived there for 3 months. And again, like, it was like sort of, Thailand was good in the beginning. The first couple weeks I was there, because, and, like, this is just happened to a friend of mine, where she went to Thailand and she's like, this is amazing, like, this is the best place ever, I'll be here forever. I'm like, you'll be there for another week or so. And then the honeymoon sort of phase, like, the whole thing will wear off, and then you're gonna come back to America. And, like, that's literally exactly what happened. She's living in Vegas now, but yeah, like, the first 2 weeks was such a radical change. And then, like, same thing with Australia. And once I got back from Australia, the next week or two was were pretty good, but then it sort of became a little bit monotonous. It was me sort of doing the same thing over and over again. And I was just, like, you know, playing poker, like, go get a massage. It was so hot out, like, you never really go outside. You know, just donk around sort of the city. You know, meet up with some, like, poker players, and, you know, that's, like, a great, like, lifestyle. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that, like, I still wanted to experience more growth, and I guess sort of my growth had, like, sort of stagnated at that point. But I just stuck it out, and then I was originally going to go back to America, but then Black Friday hit, and then I was sort of off, and that was brutal. Black Friday was really brutal because I was, it hit me in Thailand, and I was supposed to go to Europe in like the next like 2 weeks or something, and then canceled that trip. Went back to Vegas for a month, then went to Malta for 2 months, then went to where did we have to remember? Then Vancouver. I went to Vancouver, and I was gonna get a place with Doug, but like he was gonna be up there for another month. So I just lived in a hotel, and we found a place to live, but like I couldn't live there that month, so I just lived in a hotel. I just lived in a Fairmont. I lived in the Fairmont waterfront. I think I lived in the Fairmont waterfront in Vancouver. There's like 4 Fairmonts in Vancouver. I lived in the Fairmont waterfront for a month. I had like, it was again, like unlimited freedom, but I had like the worst routine. Like I would just be in my hotel room all day. I would just play poker online. I was getting a ton of action. And like Black Friday had hit, and like sort of there was a flame ignited under me. I was like, oh shit, poker could just be gone. Like I don't know who no was going to happen. It's like I still have my account. Like I can still make money. Like I didn't have like I had a bunch of money locked up full time. I was like, I have to make as much money as possible. This could be over tomorrow. Sort of irrationally doom and gloom. Although who knows? It was super Wild West unknown back then. Anyway, so we did that. I did that for a full. So then I would just like order the same thing. I think I had like spaghetti and meatballs, a chocolate chip cookie, and a glass of milk. Like every other day, or like maybe the pizza. It was just the same, because like the thing is, I would be awake all night. Like I'd wake up at like 4 p.m. I'd be awake all night. Nothing would be open, but the room service at that hour had like 6 things on it. So I just like lived in this hotel, and then eventually we moved in, and we sort of had this like weird Vancouver dormitory where me and my friend were in one of the apartments, and then Doug and another friend were in like another apartment. And we just we would just grind, we would just like grind online. That was actually one of the cooler times, because we would wake up, grind online, and then we would all play in the morning for the most part, because the morning on the West Coast is when like the games really happen, because like sort of Europe and the East Coast or whatever, they're all, it's like nighttime for them, so they're logging on. So we would play, and then we would go to dinner. Everyone would typically be like wake up, breakfast, coffee, play poker all day, like unwind a little bit in the apartment, chat with your roommate or whoever, and then we would all go out to a group dinner together, like every night, and we'd CCR. I think I ran like 10K above me in CCR that year, but yeah, we would all go out to dinner, and then we'd talk about our session, we'd bullshit, sort of whatever. Sometimes we'd fly friends in, or a girlfriend or whatever. So yeah, that's what it was like. I guess that's like sort of poker, like post Black Friday, is that we would just travel, to these different countries. It was mostly Vancouver. I mean, there's like we had a really big Asia trip that actually, it was, I think so. Yeah, 2013 we had this, or 2012 we had this big Asia trip where it was there was like 8 or 9 of us, maybe 10 of us. And like, I haven't really done anything like that since, and it was sort of lost to me. It's so special to get a group of like 10 of your friends to go to go on some trip anywhere. It's so hard to get 10 people to agree to anything, let alone get on like a plane and fly across an ocean and go like on this trip. We went to like Japan, Korea, China, and Thailand and back. That was just like a special sort of amazing experience. And that's like one of the cool sort of community things about poker, is like there's all this freedom, and then there's like all these people in the exact same spots, and like I can't imagine. I don't know what it's like to work for HP or like Ford or whatever, but like I imagine they don't have group like Tokyo outings where you go get drunk all night and then go to the fish market at 5 a.m. Like I don't think that's a thing there. And so in terms of like radical life experience, there's definitely like a lot of that in poker, especially like the hubs for poker, like Vegas, LA, New York, Miami, whatever. Like there's such a community there. There's just so much, I guess there's like a lot of sort of optionality in the US, rather. There's a lot of optionality to find a community and do different stuff like that. Same thing with like Vancouver, Mexico. There's like always these little pockets of because honestly, like overwhelming majority of my friends, like everybody not everybody, but like 90+% of my friends I met through poker. They're either poker players or I've met them directly through poker. Like, it wasn't poker, I would not have met them. So. Where do I have to go on that? I don't know. Basically, like, there's just like this whole sort of like culture, and then like, you know, because I'm me, right? Like I can, you know, I'm like a sort of a well-known poker player. Like if you play like high stakes poker, there's a good chance you know about me, there's a good chance you played against me, right? So like I can go to whatever city and just be like, oh hey, it's Ryan, and like I'm, you know, I can like sort of get right in, you know, I'm sort of like they'll like know who I am, like, oh yeah, like I'm a poker player too, we'll just, you know, let's go out, or let's, you know, do X, do Y. Joey's the all-time master of this. Joey has done this more than probably anybody on earth. Just like leveraging his like poker, you know, people know who he is in poker, to like just go to different cities and hang out. But yeah, I mean, that's like, you know, I guess that's like for sure, you know, sort of a part of it. And now I just like, you know, basically live in America full time. I play on the American sites. I have like more structure to my life, which is like something that I wanted. But like I basically wake up, I walk into my office, here in my office right now, check on my computer, just see all my messages now that like, you know, I run Upswing, running Upswing, like I'm always going to wake up to like some number of messages on a million platforms from business partners, people who work for me, you know, community members, like whoever, the people that want to do stuff with us, whatever, right? So like I'll go through all that, and then I'll have some coffee and some breakfast, and I'll just get to work. I normally work right after I drink coffee, as I got, you know, kind of like my caffeine high, and then just get as much time as possible until like the evening. And then I typically I'll go to like yoga or something, or if I'm going to work out, I'll probably work out after I'm done working. And then sometimes I do lunch, sometimes I don't. And yeah, and then like maybe go have dinner with friends, or maybe by myself, or just sort of do, you know, that's like my free time is sort of like the evening. Sometimes I stream there, sometimes I have to do work there, but like oftentimes the free time is my evening. And yeah, and that's like basically it. And then like every once in a while, like for instance, this is, you know, we're a week before TwitchCon, right? So next weekend's TwitchCon's in San Diego. I'm gonna drive down to San Diego, and I'm gonna go to TwitchCon for a couple days and just like hang out. Was it last month? I just flew to Miami, playing Poker Night in America, and then I flew home to see my parents and then came back. Or next month I might go, or sorry, in January rather, I might go to Aussie Millions and then Thailand, just you know, like a vacation, just cause. And it's like, I guess that's like one of the cool things is like, you can play a lot of poker, you can get sort of burned out, and then you can be like, oh, that's it, like, you know, I'm not going to do this at all. If you have that kind of personality, if you like to get really absorbed in something and then let it go, it's like, you know, you could play poker for a month straight, and then you can be like, all right, I'm going to take this week, month, whatever off, going to go to, you know, Thailand for 2 weeks, unwind, and then I'll come back and play more poker. So yeah, I don't know, that's like, I guess that's kind of like the life style. I don't know. If you guys have any other lifestyle questions, feel free to ask me. I'm Ryan P. Poker everywhere. Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Twitter. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to follow me, send me a message. I'd be happy to chat it up. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, you can subscribe to our Upswing Poker YouTube channel by clicking right here. If you want to find more videos of me, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. And if you want to ask us a question or follow us on social media, click right down here and you'll be taken to our social media page at upswingpoker.com.